We're ready to roll on Happy Tuesday. Hello, everyone. This is Tim Alston, and welcome to the Tim Commandments of Leadership. This is where we, emerging leaders, and we as recovering ego-holics, where we learn to manage our ego-holisms, that is, our distorted egos, whether they are inflated or deflated, so that we can lead with impact, so that we can lead with clarity, and so that we can lead with humility. Again, my name is Tim Alston. I am a leadership strategist. I'm a 4-time Amazon best-selling author, and I am a recovering ego-holic. Glad that you joined us today. Today's episode is entitled Custom Built Giants, When Resistance Confirms the Mission. Custom built giants, where and when resistance confirms the mission. Now, let me start with this quote that has been ringing in my heart all week long. It is from the Streams in the Desert devotional book dated June 29th. Here it is. We encounter giants only when we are serving God and following Him. We encounter giants only when we are serving God and following Him. It is when Israel was going forward that the giants appeared. When they were going forward, when they turned back into the wilderness, they found none. That's powerful. And for me, it's very personal, because lately I've been meeting some of my own customized giants. Instead of crushing me, they've been confirming that I'm on the right path that God has set for me. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. In the Bible, Numbers chapter 13 tells us this. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel. But catch this. God didn't say, I might give them the land if they prove themselves worthy. No. He said, I'm giving it. I'm giving it. The gift of the land of Canaan was already decided by God. But what happened? 12 spies went in. 10 spies came back trembling. But two others of those 12 spies, Joshua and Caleb, came back ready to march. Here's my Tim Commandment point number 1. The promise was already made. The promise was already made. God didn't ask the spies to figure out how to take the land. He had already promised it. And Andy Stanley often says in his book Visioneering, how is a problem for men, but how is not a problem for God. Let me say that again. How is a problem for men, but how is not a problem for God. The real mission, it was a test of faithfulness. Faithfulness. To my fellow emerging leaders and recovering ego-holics, this is what I call a Mount Moriah moment. I've named it that for when God told Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac. God was not after a dead son. He was after a proven heart. Again, my central message is this. We encounter giants only when we are serving God and following Him. We encounter giants only when we're serving God and following Him. When you and I are on that right path, we need to expect challenges. We need to expect trials. And yes, we need to expect opportunities. Opportunities to both recover as well as to demonstrate leadership. Tim Commandment point number 2, 2 different lenses. 2 different lenses. Back to our stories of the 12 spies. Isn't it amazing? It's amazing. This happens to us all the time. Isn't it amazing how two people can look at the same situation and based upon their mindset, they will see two very different scenarios? Here, the leadership expert, Dr. John C. Maxwell, sums it up perfectly with respect to those 12 spies going to the promised land. He said the 10 spies, the 10 saw their God in the light of their circumstances. However, the other two, Joshua and Caleb, saw their circumstances in the light of their God. Let that sink in. Let me repeat that. The 10 saw their God in the light of their circumstances. However, the two saw their circumstances in the light of their God. Same giants, same promised land, same set of facts. But what was the difference? The different interpretation of the spies determined their outcome, determined their mindset. Isn't that true in leadership today? We all face the same challenges: budget cuts, team conflicts, market shifts, personal setbacks. The facts are the same, but our perspective determines whether we shrink back or step forward, or as I like to say, whether we see those challenges as stumbling blocks or as stepping stones. 10 commandment point number 3. I love this point. Your giants confirm that you're moving in the right direction. Your giants confirm that you're moving in the right direction. That earlier quote says, when they turned back into the wilderness, they found none. Excuse me. In other words, giants don't appear when you're wandering and going in circles. That's not when giants appear. They show up when you're advancing toward your destiny. Those giants don't show up when you're directionless. They show up when you're advancing toward your destiny. And here's the twist. Those giants aren't punishment. They are not punishment. Let me say it again. Those giants are not punishment. They are left-handed compliments from God. It's his way of saying, I trust you enough to try you. I trust you enough to try you. I trust you enough to grow you. That's a powerful point. God has to trust you to try you. He has to trust you to try you and to grow you. Let me share a personal reflection. In my own journey right now, as we speak, as we communicate, as we dialogue, I'm facing some customized giants. Customized. Small daily trials, big strategic roadblocks, and some unexpected delays. Now, each one forces me to lean less on self-confidence and more on God confidence. You see, part of my ego-holism recovering message is that ego-holism comes in two forms. The inflated ego that says, we can do this without God, or the deflated ego that says, we're like grasshoppers. Sound like those 10 spies. Both are deadly. Both will keep you and me from entering the promised land. But God designs customized giants, customized and tailor-made and monogrammed with your initials on them. Your initials on, not mine for you or yours for me, but your initials on monogrammed on your customized giants. Okay. And this is to break both kinds of egos, both the inflated and the deflated egos, so that we stop relying upon ourselves, self-confidence, and start crazy gluing ourselves to him or God confidence. 10 commandment point number 4 is the leadership lesson. Here's where this applies directly to leadership, and especially for us as recovering ego-holics and as emerging leaders. Hear me out on this one. Resistance often confirms that you're moving in the right direction. Resistance often confirms that you're moving in the right direction. Customized challenges grow our custom capabilities. And the bigger the opposition, the more critical is the mission. The bigger the opposition, the more critical is the mission. In other words, if there's no resistance, you might still be in the wilderness. If there's no resistance, you might still be in the wilderness. And what is the wilderness? Remember, according to Dr. John C. Maxwell, our leadership expert, it is in the wilderness that three important maturities occur. Your backbone is solidified, your motives are purified, and your calling is clarified. Let me say that again. In the wilderness, three maturities occur. Your backbone is solidified, your motives are purified, and your calling is clarified. Biblical examples, we see this object lesson of heavy opposition to strengthen us as leaders over and over in the scriptures. David had his Goliath. Nehemiah had his Sanballat and Tobiah. Paul had his shipwrecks, his snake bites, and his imprisonments. And here's the pattern. Every giant was an intersection. Every giant was an intersection, a test that either advanced the mission or turned the person back. What's the ego-holism recovering tie-in? For my fellow recovering ego-holics, this principle is liberating. God allows giants to detox our reliance on human ability. He's not trying to embarrass us. No. Instead, he's trying to equip us. If I can reframe my struggle as a left-handed compliment, then I stop asking, why me, Lord? And now start asking, why not me, Lord? And what's next for me, Lord? Do you see the difference? Everything he places in our path has been customized, monogrammed with our initials on it. 10th commandment, point number 5, the practical takeaways. So, what do we do when we meet our giants? Here are 3 quick steps. What do we do when we meet our giants? Here are 3 quick steps. Number 1, remember the promise. God has already spoken his will. He's already said, I will. Number 2, don't let present facts erase past promises. Don't let present facts erase past promises. Number 3, choose your lens. Will you see God through the filter of your problems, or will you see your problems through the filter of your God? It's really just that simple. Again, stay the course. Giants are proof you're advancing. Don't retreat to the wilderness just because the terrain gets a little rough. And here's my closing challenge for you. If you're facing a giant today, whether it's a financial giant, a relational giant, a spiritual giant, or a professional giant, here's my encouragement to you. The same God who gave you the promise will now give you the power. The same God that gave you the promise will now give you the power. The giant isn't a sign to stop. Instead, it's proof you're moving in the right direction. So let's be like Joshua and Caleb. Let's you and me see our circumstances in the light of our God and say with full confidence, we should go up and take possession, for we can certainly do it. Numbers 13, verse 30. Thanks for joining me today for the 10 Commandments of Leadership. If this message encouraged you, then share it with someone facing their own giants right now. And remember this, if you remember nothing else that I've said, customized giants grow your custom built leadership. Customized giants grow your custom built leadership. Until next time, keep your God confidence high and your self confidence in check. God's already given the promise. Now walk forward and claim it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope that you've been able to grow from this message. I have grown from preparing it and now also presenting it. It has reaffirmed my faith to understand that every trial that comes in my path has been weighed, measured, customized, tailor-made, and monogrammed with Tim Alston's initials in it. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Share it with a friend. Bye-bye.